Lynch, lives, only be live forever. Messo simple. Messo simple. More 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 simple. Not today. This is last week. Exactly last 7 days that I showed you before that means basically analysis of the years. Perhaps no. It was starting exactly in a week. Next week. Next Tuesday. It will be easy that Mr. Easy that the birth sono 4 will be given 5. Someone 5 plus 5 so 10. Pratica del 0. Leader to read the birth. Yesterday not the range. It's January 13. So read 13 days. January 36. So read 36. 2026 is Tuesday. You need to do that once again after 2 days. After 2 days with the visual day once again. Totally cloudy. Mas pratica i fatto per molti cloudy, guardate le cloudy sconfissione generale. Tutto il suo queste nights e lì altri 13 and 49 minutes 57 to 14 Celsius really cold like col sicurezza di suo quello interview sul support per il sicuro si consiglia che c'è la memoria su questo film sentito un sec che arriva dal campo di scuola regardare la stessa summer se la persona non arriva a fricolo di me the best for summer think body also like to also come per adesso le cose che io now also for the wind for camera and previous size 23 years ago artically on December 21 and previous size 15 in Italy or 4 and 3 p.m. in Italy yes poi absolutamente non mi finco lavoro in un buon c'è così niente giuro attraverso che deve essere così ma stesso si è tanto ma propose effettivamente 108 anni rispetto no proprio per per me la riga così non si riesce così spinge sempre io si fa che spinge su ci soffre per la samma che ci soffre appunto non si che ci soffre sono da segnare quindi si spiega Casi casi di crisi, attraverso il mio, stiamo qui sempre, tutta guarda, no, di sepio, non because obviously it's cold, it's winter, so general not but when I see the sentence absolutely incomplete feeling to me, instead of to me, in particular perhaps really for this video, for the fact that I feel the cold, I don't feel cold, but I feel the cold less than other people, thanks to a series of practices, what I do practice, I do follow the same estimation. Always I try to find a goal and when it comes to winter period I always write with the comment of the section which appears to not have these two practice so in case I write a goal for this case in the first part of the comment of the next so I impact the goal to tell this practice so man the first part of the first comment the next is capito non forse la più non è tecnico not fatto su più cool non è tecnico yes ma non mi penso mai mettere in manca di 25% più cool however in genere siamo for me boys so good Instead, a lot of scattered sotto I think I can say something in this for the reasons. Better teams I can do I'm not feeling this. Ieri after che temperature. This is a bit just before. 57 to 14 Celsius. But because I think it's clear from Chile. Se fuori di so. Adesso se gusti le sono se curti in genere, mi ripeto iniziato a uscire. Adesso suppose perché sono casa di ripetere Sky, atmosfera, Sky, forse non so da ripetere mostly Tottenham, to consider the last 2 weeks practically, according to what I read, consider my sensations and other things, according to what I read, consider my sensations and other things, I think it's practically, I think it's sure that later, most sure that later it became late afternoon was early afternoon it became dark and bigger and also that my train for transformance on later in conclusion we see let's see what happens Adesso questa è una cosa di ingenza, wizards, sono successi skills con quelli di bad, maximum task on bad when, perhaps also contro quelle bad at 5 bad when. So si ritrano piccolo, quindi un corte cortivo, un flasso, un mix, un plan si sono cortini senza la stamina, magari andavano sotto barf di terra in particolare, si che sono da brevi cortini, beautiful grey cortini, beautiful cortini, c'è stata, e per le passage fanno brevi cortini, faccio io, non solo lo dico se li metti one read one in the comment section, in this case, and this should be the third point, fourth comment, where one of them is you read the comment section. I don't know if you can read the see or not as it will in short name per me, I think yes. See the green flowers, longer flowers, mix it in the plants. Or if not even better, surely better, mi sono lasciato fare che the first part of the video, which Perugia, shared with the scattazione generale from this window, it is classical window, because there is also drops on the other mythical room with the other mythical window. Ora, for a barrier perspective, also for this other practice a shot simulator, a classical shot film more than 30 seconds for the best previous curtain, usually curtain with usual printed benches, perhaps also for the first curtain color curtain, and yes, the first curtain also for the reports, many infantry exactly is surely a red curtain is still the cover image, so maybe time one day a scenicità Egitto è Easy shot, so this effect buff when there isn't the green roller shooter, and also when there is, but more when there is, così effect si measure del speech sentence also si is used for the first for the previous curtain visual curtain repeat the benches si is for the first curtain si is remember exactly is, and also si is also read it for the new curtain, sorry but repeat special. Also used for first time, so and this little speech sentence it is, but also always better visible for me in its entity, in its shot, si quanti si mitico la generation, shot. As regards the regular show, there is no optimism, but for optimism is the first days of last October, but this is important too because it's also the optimism. Now I also had see the elite special center for the continuous for it, but it's valid also for it. So I repeat once again, but also always better visible for me. It's sensitivity, in this shot, si quanti si media con la genere shot. And finally, from a medical keeper and 640 DG 625 also indicated as well generation. Yeah, questi mi piccolo, cioè un pezzo di video che ora facciamo un bel mese su myself, adesso and finally I hope you will get breakfast. Today it's mainly in general so massive. As I'm living since for the first time since last December 31, not at all for me. In fact, in general, it's late. Also for the record, it's late, but not at all for me because it's also kind of normal to me. Make breakfast. It is hours in the video. At the same time, it's also late. Vabbè, batte bowl, poi se sferi von drüber rutschen, så man du zusammen fucking breakfast. Finten det som vet. Så att ut, finten, vet starten ringi milka. Att finten en parte med te två gest, så inte trägo det så som man så trist så stracho. Värre det blir tre cose i varje record. Lì to su mas vet si meta minuto, per fuck mettersi not l'RS. RS ma fa si meta there just roll maybe just in quote 13 and 49 minutes. But in particular should say that it's only also dei fortunate Americani. And as we always see, breakfast most beautiful for food. Absolutely. النص وين بيت رس مرة ويا إنه رس كونزين فاكتور إكس perform these on Friday. Let's back to crash the murder weeks ago. And it was the fifth reason, the story with the report, and the beautiful reason, red and black and also white. That if the point in comparison with the person, all things that were someone enough to follow me on Friday with the report. Well, yes, this should be done period. And I promise you, but I promise you to wait 1 day or 1 time, so many times much better, so better visit the international see from the sitting, so me, yes, ecco, questi speech, for sarà ciò, bisogna, se giochi su altri come battomasso, ma siamo nessuno, for sarà bis, sarà mai fatti fac, sarà mai più sul combo, sul bio, viscus, e si è stato che torna a questa. If not, best in realtà, per ciò chip cookies, or la cookies, chip chocolate chips. Fatemi sì, questo fatto qui su Lynch. But in particolare, I think se lo userete, lei si fa solo but milk fa questo shot solo in pezzi di coffee così. Tu sono shot in fa questo tasto, shot fa come ti so shot link. Hasta fin che sarà mon se su che se lo so. Coach, bisogna più se mi faccio preso più better. Forse non è scritto se finisce no, adesso quando si su brutto tu se fin che essa non ha nei ti attenti ti quanti tu ti so che sia hai lo so coach. Se non è tanto che pezzi più better. Presidente è since that motor ti pattern certo detto anzi che milk so. Good news, quindi se fosse effettivamente cosa breakfast, questa buona spina particolare a me, sì, se resti più, ti giochi su, ti guardi il batto con suonia, so, of course, mi riferisco su questa stanza, ho detto prima, e senza come questo consiglio, tolla, di cosa breakfast, questo è meglio, se vuoi cosa passi a fare, e mi farebbe che sia stata con, da anzi, mi sa che siamo questa posizione, perhaps, so che seguo da Pamamat, in genere, non so se siamo preso posizione, di cosa? Un'altra questa posizione fa vedere la PAM, Italian PAM, Dark Chocolate Chip Series. Questo, a due come nel medio e magari mi sapete nel medio because they are really super bad. Adesso, tomorrow is supposed to be tomorrow to 11. Why see?